Hello again. Until 5 years ago, almost everybody in Britain of working age wished to have a well paid and interesting job. The ultimate aim was to be able to buy a house and be able to afford to have children and raise a family. We expected to work full time for 40 or 50 years and then to retire and enjoy the fruits of our labour. This was pretty well a universal ambition. It was what we expected to do. People wanted jobs. People wanted full-time jobs. During the Thatcher years, I dare say people can remember, there was a lot of unemployment. People were desperate for jobs. They would go anywhere. The idea was that being unemployed was a dreadful state of affairs, and Thatcher was blamed for creating unemployment or being indifferent to unemployment. All those unemployed people were desperate for jobs that weren't there. This lifestyle, this point of view, has now faded away entirely and is viewed by many young people as not only unattainable, but undesirable. They don't want to work full time at a job, and many of them don't want a family either. As far as anybody can establish, they just want to sit at home all day watching YouTube videos. And if they do have a job, then they certainly don't want to have to travel to a place of work, their hope being that they can work from home. There are now 1 million young people aged between 18 and 24 who are not working or studying. They're on benefits. When you add to that the millions of people who are registered as being disabled or long-term sick, you begin to see the nature of the problem. The restrictions introduced during the COVID epidemic that stopped people going to school or going to work showed that the country could get by quite well enough without people actually going to their place of work. This was, depending on your point of view, either a wonderful discovery or a catastrophic one. For ever since that time, a lot of people have been determined to stay at home rather than going to work. The idea is that because of the internet, we can all do our work just as well in our own homes as we can in an office. We know that it's not true. We know that all those workers, civil servants at the Inland Revenue cannot possibly do their jobs sitting at home. We see the backlog of inquiries building up. We know that things are less efficient because people are working from their homes rather than going to the office. Young people too wish to stay at home rather than trekking to work, but many of them don't care if this means working at home or not working at all. The feeling is increasingly in the 18 to 24 age group that they will never be able to afford a house, and having babies is very expensive and time consuming, so why bother to work anyway? The psychological impact of the COVID lockdown has been immense. It is not difficult to see how this acted, of course, to stimulate immigration, because if this country's indigenous inhabitants are not prepared to work in coffee shops or care homes as taxi drivers or Deliveroo staff, then obviously foreign immigrants will do so. The COVID episode broke an entire tradition in this country of working, having children, raising families, and striving for the future. Unless something is done about this, those negative attitudes will only grow stronger with every passing year.